cuffing season. That time of year when it feels like everyone around you is pairing off to survive the colder months. The time of holiday parties and probably some relatives asking you about your love life. If you're aromantic, asexual, or both, cuffing season can feel complicated. Let's talk about it. Cuffing season is this idea that as the weather gets colder, people start feeling increased pressure to find a partner. Maybe it's for emotional support, to have someone to take to holiday events, or even just for a cozy winter vibe cuddling on the couch. It's framed as normal, even expected. But for people like me on the aromantic and asexual spectrums, it's not always that simple. I want to get real for a moment. Before I fully understood my identity as Aroace, I definitely got caught up in the whole cuffing season mindset. There were times where I felt like I had to be in a relationship. Moments like mistletoe and that New Year's kiss, they really got hung up on me. And honestly, it wasn't about wanting a partner. It was about not wanting to feel out of place. Everyone else was doing it, so I thought I had to do it too. But when I look back, I realized those relationships weren't really about connection. They were about filling a space. It was like I was checking a box off just to fit in. And the kicker? Most of the time, I didn't even want to be there. I stayed because I felt like I had to. Society teaches us that being single, especially during the holidays, is a problem to fix. And that pressure can hit really hard. This all ties into something called amatonormativity. It's the belief that romantic relationships are the ultimate goal, the most important type of connection that you should have, and that everyone should want one. It's baked into how we see the world, from movies to holiday ads to the way people ask, "So are you seeing anyone?" without even thinking about how that question feels. For those of us who are aromantic or asexual or even just not interested in dating, amatonormativity makes us feel like we're broken, like we're missing something essential. And during this cuffing season, as it's called, that message gets amplified. Here's the thing. We're not broken. We're not missing anything, and we don't need romance to live happy, fulfilled lives. For those of us on the aromantic and asexual spectrums, cuffing season may bring a lot of mixed emotions. Some Aroace people genuinely do want partnerships, whether they're romantic, platonic, queer platonic, however that looks for them. But others don't. Both are valid because aromanticism and asexuality are spectrums. There's no one-size-fits-all experience there. Now for me, once I embraced being Aroace, I stopped feeling like I needed to fit in by dating someone just because it's what everyone else was doing. Instead, I focused on what I wanted. Whether that's deepening friendships, spending time with chosen family, or just enjoying the holidays solo. There was a time where I felt obligated to date simply because I was expected that I would. I wasn't thinking about what I needed or what I wanted. I was just trying to avoid judgment. And honestly, most of those relationships weren't great. They felt more like obligations than connections. Really, with the exception of just one, all of them felt like I was just going through the motions. It's only in hindsight that I realized how much harm I was actually doing to myself by not being true to who I am. That's the thing about amatonormativity. It makes you feel like you have to fill a role, even if that role doesn't fit you. So what can we do to pass these months and these expectations that come with them? First, celebrate your platonic relationships. Friendships are just as valid, if not more so, than romantic partners. Why not plan a Friendsgiving, a holiday potluck, or just a cozy game night? Some of my favorite memories are of gathering friends for a hot chocolate bar or a winter movie marathon. It's about making time for the people who truly make your life brighter. If you're looking for ideas, try baking together, going ice skating, or organizing a gift exchange that's more about thoughtful gestures than spending money. You could also plan a winter adventure like sledding or visiting holiday markets. My second tip is to find a winter hobby that lights you up. This season is a great time to pick up something new or to revisit an old favorite. For me, that's sports. There's plenty of sports to watch right now. And one of my favorites that isn't around year long is hockey. Watching it, talking about it, keeping up with my team, playing fantasy or video games. In fact, hockey ties pretty strongly into my Aspec journey in a meaningful way, and I'll share more about that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. But maybe for you, it's learning to knit, trying out snowshoeing, or finally tackling that pile of books you've been meaning to read. Next, create some traditions that are meaningful to you. One of my favorite solo traditions is bundling up with a cup of cider and watching old movies or things that bring back nostalgia for me. My favorite is actually watching this one baseball game from September 28th, 2008. You can look it up. The Milwaukee Brewers versus the Chicago Cubs. I was in my final year of high school, and that game got my favorite team, my hometown team, into the playoffs for the first time in 26 years. The first time in my lifetime. I don't care that it's old and all the players have retired. For me, it's comforting. It brings back memories of celebrating in the halls the next morning with my friends at school. It's a good memory. Sometimes that's all it takes. If you can't think of something to refresh an old memory, maybe try writing holiday cards to your friends, journaling about the past year, or making a playlist that celebrates how far you've come. Traditions don't have to involve anyone else. They're just a way to honor yourself and what matters to you. Cuffing season can feel noisy. There's so much talk about romance that it's easy to feel like you're missing out. But this season can also be an opportunity to embrace the quiet moments. Take a solo walk in the snow, try meditating, or enjoy the peacefulness of winter evenings. Sometimes those quiet moments are where you find the most clarity. Now let's talk about media. Holiday movies are notorious for being all about love stories, especially those Hallmark ones. But you don't have to watch them if they don't resonate with you. Instead, seek out stories that focus on friendships, on family, and on personal growth. And if you're into sports like I am, winter is always the perfect time to dive into the highs and lows of a good hockey or football or basketball season. Finally, don't be afraid to set boundaries. If family gatherings come with prying questions about your love life, it's okay to redirect the conversation or politely shut it down. As an example, if someone asks, "Why are you not seeing anyone?" you can simply reply with something like, "I'm focusing on things that make me happy right now." Short, sweet, it shifts the focus back to you, but not to their expectations. At the end of the day, cuffing season is just a label. You don't need to participate in it to have an amazing winter. Focus on what brings you joy, whether that's spending time with friends, diving into hobbies, or just enjoying the little moments that this season has to offer. Personally, I think it's time we redefine cuffing season into something more inclusive. It doesn't have to be about romance. It can be about connection. Whatever that looks like for you, that's what it could be. It can be about showing love and care for yourself, for your friends, or for your community. Relationships don't have to be romantic to matter. And if you're someone who does feel lonely during this time of year, that's okay too. The pressure to find a partner can be overwhelming. But remember, you're not alone. There are so many people, aromantic, asexual, or otherwise, who are also craving their own paths and rejecting the idea that romance is the ultimate goal. Now, if you're somebody that isn't Aspec, but you want to support Aspec folks during this time, here's a couple ways you can do that. For one, don't assume everyone is looking for a partner. Some people simply aren't. Secondly, respect Aspec identities. If we tell you we're not interested in dating or in relationships, listen and believe us. If we tell you that we don't experience those kinds of attractions, listen and believe us. And thirdly, don't say things like, "You'll find someone eventually." We're not incomplete. So this cuffing season, whether you're cuddling up with a partner, spending time with friends, or thriving on your own, remember this: the The season is what you make out of it. For those of us who are Aroace or anywhere on the A spectrum, it's a time to celebrate what makes us unique, to build connections that actually fulfill us, and to reject the pressures that don't serve us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. How do you navigate cuffing season? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if it resonates with you. Take care, stay cozy, and remember, you are enough just as you are. Now, if you'll excuse me, the puck's about to drop, so I gotta go watch my team. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.